Oops. All right, let's see if we can get this to stay. There we go. So I got a little bit of time to kill. I'm waiting for Sherry at the doctor, and we had Paul Goebel DM her, which was super creepy. So if you guys feel the need to creep him and I don't know, flag his posts or do something, whatever, it's fine with me. I wanted to teach you guys about sales and the way that I do sales. So the biggest thing that you can do about sales is don't think of it as a sale. A long time ago, Sony had a Sony store, like an Apple store or anything like that, and they used to pay their guys hourly instead of by commission. And of course, it wasn't effective because I think they just didn't give it enough time. And I thought it was really good for the brand, just to show them that, you know, Sony wants to make your life better and really wants to help you. Toyota has a lot of the same thing. A lot of the Japanese values, of course, that gets, you know, when you're competing on a global scale against a bunch of other shitheads, sometimes that gets corrupted. And it was good intentions, but it has to start with somebody like me, where I'm independent. I don't have to adhere to anybody's standards, and I get to call my own shots. And so this is the way I've done it, and I've been very successful. And the biggest thing is I get to sleep at night peacefully, and I get to feel good. I don't have to worry about somebody throwing a brick through my house, because I ripped them off or whatever, which is what you get, when you go to virtually any car audio shop. So, let's see where to begin. So the idea is to help people, and being the organization and organized the way that we are, which is an outreach program for our church, it coincides with that. So that's actually a great way to organize. So you don't have to be a corporation or an LLC or things like that. That you can actually form those for other reasons, like for loans and things like that. And I can show you how to do that when I am able to exercise that stuff myself. But as far as selling goes, you really want to have the intention. And I used to sell. I used to be a waiter. I used to be a food server. Several times, in several different situations. And what I found was that when you're serving someone, there's a chance and a moment for you to say, "I love you," and it's a very Zen moment where, yogi people say Namaste, and Namaste is, the light in me acknowledges the light in you, or recognizes the light in you. And that's a very, I don't want to use the word Zen, because Zen means to not think, but it's a very wonderful feeling, I'll say that. And you can practice that every day without being like overly weird, where you're like, I love you, or something like that in a more professional or business type of situation. So the idea, though, is to genuinely want to help people. And so that means foregoing a lot of profits that are immediate slam dunks. Somebody comes in and they're dumb and they don't know any better, and you can easily take advantage of them. No, none of that. So you're basically treating people the way that you want to be treated. So if somebody comes in, and so some of the things that I still do, I just don't advertise anymore, because I found it would actually attract the wrong kind of people. Is like free amp testing, free equipment testing, being a third party for people that want to sell stuff on OfferUp or Facebook or Craigslist, even if you're still using Craigslist. But just being a little community hero and a good source for information. Now, the downside of that is when you give the bad information to people, and guess what? You still end up with the threat of a brick through your window, because you told somebody the truth and they didn't like it. But at least you can sleep good, because if somebody wants to do that, they're going to do that. There's nothing you can do about it. Just like when somebody, like I don't install alarms at all. And I don't really recommend them, because if somebody really wants your system, they're going to take it. There's nothing you can do about it. So, I mean, you got to be at work. You're vulnerable. It's an old cowboy saying, the most you can do is basically just tie up your horses, and that's all you can do. So if anything, what I used to do, and I'll put this in the description, is basically use a relay and a blinky red LED, so that when the ignition is off, the blinky light comes on. So, and then also when you turn it on, you can also use it as a relay for fans or lights or whatever you want. There's multi-purpose that you can use for this. It's a simple relay, and you can get a relay for $1, and you get the blinky light for like $1. It's the cheapest security system that you can buy. And I've installed probably almost 100 of them, so for people. And usually what I would do is include that for free as part of the install when I would do an install. And people remember that. Right? And if you really think about it, sales is always a numbers game. So when you're just genuinely helping people, and you're not looking for any sort of like immediate reward, people remember that, and they come back to you year after year, month after month. Now, you do have to set down some ground rules, and you do have to watch your boundaries, because you will attract, just like if you feed the pigeons, then you're going to have pigeons. If you feed the kittens, you're going to have kittens. So you got to be careful about who you do, and sometimes that's when you can charge like a consultation fee. So I used to do that when I had a website, which was I charged a $300 one-time lifetime consulting deal, and basically anything that I know, I would consult with them privately and try to help them, give them some options or some information that maybe they don't have. Sometimes I would even do some research, or basically just put them on my agenda so that they become a priority. That's all. That's another way that you can sort of monetize being good and being nice. Because otherwise, if you don't lay down any boundaries or any sort of means for you to collect on this goodwill, then people will run you over. And so that's not what you want. But you also don't have to be a dick when somebody comes in with a questionable amp and, charge them $40 for a test. You don't have to do that. Now, what you can do is say that you're not allergic to money. Like, that's always a good joke. You say, I'm not allergic to money, so if you want to tip me, that's up to you. And then I really like that one, because what that does is it tells you more about the client and about how much they appreciate you. So it's like if you sit there and troubleshoot a system for 20 minutes and they give you $5, there you go. That tells you how much they value you. I've had other people that I've helped for like 2 minutes, and it was their fault, and they acknowledged it, and they were like, oh, I feel bad, and they're like, here's $20, and I'm not going to argue with them. You know what I mean? So that's a gift. That's a gift they're giving you. That's not compensation. That's a gift. Just like, you don't bitch when somebody gives you a Wii Fit for Christmas because they think you're fat. You say thank you. So, which actually happened to me. My mother-in-law. But as far as sales going, the best thing that you can do is master the information. So let's say you're in a situation like Best Buy. So get to know all the equipment that you're going to be selling and how you would use it in your own life. So, because even this technique even works at a Best Buy, where you really just got to have hustle and really be eager to help people. Now, of course, they pay a commission, so that even helps you better. But you also don't have to sell somebody something that they don't need, right? And you can even, it feels wonderful to tell them that they don't need it, because that's the anti-sales thing, right? Any whatever veteran sales guy will tell you, oh, don't ever say that. Don't ever tell them the truth. No, it feels fucking great to tell them the truth. You go, honestly, I don't think this is a good choice, but I'm not going to say no to your money. You see what I mean? So then you get to have your cake and eat it too. You get to be honest and you make a sale. You see what I'm saying? So, and that's what I've been doing for 20 years, and it feels fucking great. And so now what you get into, like I said, is sometimes you got to give bad news to people and they don't take it so well, right? And sometimes they take it personal. And but the best thing you can do is always reference things about what you would do And you know, I typically I give people 3 strikes. If they want to do something stupid, then I try to talk them out of it at least 2 or 3 times and say, you don't need that. So like I get a lot of Pisces. Pisces are countrymen. They're immigrants. They're just kind of, you know, field workers. They're labor type of guys that come from South America, Mexico. And they love the epicenters, right? And they'll say epicenter. Now, some of them who make a little bit better money will demand the genuine epicenter. But there's no real need for that. So because the original epicenter doesn't even exist anymore. So, and I'll talk about that. There's a whole video that Steve Mead does for 15 minutes on, God, it's just, look at me, look how great I am. It's this most, it makes me want to puke. It's so gross. So I'll get into that in another video because I want to show you the video. But as far as sales go, again, your goal is to help them. So, and as far as the Pisces go, typically what they do with the epicenter is they turn their crossover point way down to like 50 hertz, 70 hertz, which is way too low because you miss out on a lot of bass, especially because they like the mid bass. For Pisces, you want to turn it up to 250, 350 hertz on the low pass filter, and use the bass boost that's on the head unit, because typically the bass boost or the loudness button as well on the head unit is usually centered around 60 hertz because it's meant to power like, you know, 6.5s, 6x9s, things like that, things that respond well to that frequency range. So, but yeah, they don't need an epicenter, even if they demand one. And if they do demand one, typically I have one for about 35 to 40 bucks. So my cost on those is like $15. And so there's still a good margin on them. And I get people all the time that would buy 2 or 3 at a time, and then they would go resell them for $65 to $100, just because they meet Pisces that don't want to listen. So I'm like, okay, and I'm not going to argue with ignorant people. So if you're ignorant, and you know, like some people are superstitious, you know, I experienced that a lot in Hawaii. There's a lot of people that are superstitious. I don't want to get involved in that. I'm like, nope, no thanks. If you believe in superstitions, or if you're overly religious, like to the point where you change your appearance, then no, I don't need that. So let me see. Sherry just texted me. She might be ready. We'll see. But anyways, as far as selling goes, again, your main focus is to help this fellow human being find. Oh, okay. She's just saying hi. So the point of sales is not to make you money. It's to help them find a solution. And you have to be brave and sometimes give people bad news. So that's the biggest one. Other than that, though, I start with the basics, and you do this over and over again, time and time again. I start with budget. And if people feel uncomfortable talking about budget, sometimes I'll give them another strike, because that's right off the bat. If they don't want to talk budget, that's a strike, meaning you don't want to deal with them because they either don't know what they want, or they're used to a deceptive, high pressure environment, and they're not going to be a good client for you. And so that makes them a liability. So you probably want to get away from them. Just like if you meet somebody that's really demanding, or thinks they're hot shit and that thinks that they own you because they gave you money and things like that. Those are people you want to stay away from. So, but first thing you want to start with is budget. And, you know, you can use the example of, you're like, well, I don't want to show you Ferraris if all you can afford is a Geo Metro or whatever, some shitty car. And it's really, you know, if you want to explain to them, you say, let them know, you say, look, my job is to get you as much bang for your buck. And I want to give you something where you can walk away with equity, where you can sell it in 6 months to a year and still get your money back, or even make a profit. That's my job. And I want to do that for you. If you give me a budget, then I can show you what I can do. All right? So that's really where you want to sell that, if you consider that sales. You're really just explaining to them that you need to find out what they're working with and what their expectations are. I've also sent people to a stereo store, which is there's a couple of sales moves in there. One is called the takeaway. So, and that's what I learned at in Cutco, which was that when somebody is on the fence about it, what you do is you take it away. So you take away the offer, and sometimes they feel a panic, and then they'll buy in a panic, which is not good. I don't like that. So, but what it can do is it can affirm your position of just trying to help them. Now, there are some people, there's a lady that was real demanding, and she didn't want to follow my rules, and so I just pushed her away, and that was the end of it. And I will not, I put her in my phone so that I can recognize her number, so in case she ever calls back, I don't want to deal with her. So there's people like that. That I call a soft ban. Now, there are people that I do a hard ban where I film them and I'm like, get the fuck out of here, don't never come back, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. And those are the people that are, that are being really demanding and deceptive and being pieces of shit. And you'll run into them. So you'll find out that there's a lot of shitty people. And some of them are your friends, some of them are your family, and some of them are people that you work with. You don't know until you get into this situation. That's why, as a general rule in a lot of cultures, typically you don't want to do money or business with friends or family, because something can come up and then you sacrifice the relationship. Personally, I love that, because then you know where they're at. You know that they're a shitty person and you don't want to be associated with them anyway. So that's what I love about that. So, but let's see. Helping them. So budget. So you find out their budget once you get to their budget, then you go, okay, so now you have in your mind, and this is going to be automatic for you because you've already memorized all the prices of everything. It's not that you've memorized it to memorize it, homework in high school. It's that you just know it. So you just know that it's this price, and I'm sure, if you're sitting there, especially even if you're a sales guy for a stereo shop, you can still practice these things and still have a good conscience. You won't do as well as the guy that's a predator, but you can, it can still be temporary, and you can learn a lot until you realize that that's a shitty place for you and that you're better off just working at home. So, and that's where a lot of installers end up being. They get a job for a shop, and they realize the shop just uses them and abuses them and then throws them away. And that's not a great situation, and that's not a great way to keep employees and good people. So, and if you have any sort of self-esteem, you'll realize that they're abusing you and you'll walk away anyway. So, and is it hard to start on your own? Yeah. And you probably don't want to do it full time right away. You want to have your day job, wherever that's at the fucking tire shop. I worked at SpeedFam and did semiconductor as a EM tech for many years. Just a couple of years. And, but other just jobs that sucked, like in the Air Force and things like that. And on the side and on the weekends, I did installs, and I got better at it, and I did a lot of them for free, and I learned a lot. And the problem is people these days are just really, what's the word? Impatient. And they want, instant gratification. People have always been like that, but it just seems especially rampant now. I don't know if that's video game related or if it's iPhone or smartphone related or whatever it is, but it just seems to be more almost popular, it's a cool thing to do. So, but no, the best thing that you can learn is patience, and to be patient with people. Some people that come in, because I open the gates on the weekends. It is just my home. It's not a shop. It's not a store. And they, if they don't know what they want, I say, look around. You don't want to hover, because number one, that they don't like that, because then they feel like, you're waiting for a sale or something like that. You make yourself available, but you want to be sort of like a hot chick where you're like, well, you can be, available but in the office or doing something else. And a lot of times I'll just do something else. So I completely ignore them, and many times I forget that they're there, and that's fine. If they're going to steal, they're going to steal. There's nothing really you can do about it. Best thing you can do is have some security, and just make sure the cameras are seen so that they know that they're being seen, know that they're being watched. That can help you as well. Again, that's the same sort of policy about the security alarm that I have. It's just a blinky light. For the amateur, if they see a blinky light, they'll move on. For the professional, they don't give a shit about a blinky light. They don't give a shit. They'll fucking steal or borrow a tow truck, and they'll tow your fucking car if they want your whole system. Okay. So, but and again, back to your direction is to help them find a solution, to help them find something that's affordable. Basically, treat them the way that you would want to be treated. So you have to think about that. You have to think about. A lot of people show up and they don't even know what they want. Sometimes they're attracted by an ad that I have. And they go, well, I want this. And I go, okay, but you still want to feel them out. about their expectations. I've had a lot of people buy something very low priced, like $200 or less, and then they're not satisfied with it, and then, you know, or they blow it or something like that. So, and I typically just walk them through the process and say, this has a whatever warranty or no warranty, and then I say, you know, just so you know, if anything's burned, that's not covered under warranty. So like even the amps that we sell from Canon, which if you guys want to open up a resale account with Canon, go for it. He has some really good deals. It's all refurbished, but he honors like a 3-year warranty. And if you do enough business with him, you know, he doesn't give a shit, because I'll get into Canon later, but it's Canon Electronics out of California, Santa Fe Springs. You can just Google him and contact him. It's David Shen is the name of the owner. But I transfer that 3-year warranty to them, and as long as they don't get it wet or do something stupid. And basically, if you read, and it's important to read the warranty on Sony's website, on Kenwood's website, on Sundown's website, anybody's website, you just read what it covers and what it doesn't. Really what it does is it gives you the option of whether or not you want to replace it or repair it. If it's a defect, you don't have to. It just gives you the option. You see, if they're being rude, if they're being a dick, if they're being demanding, you just tell them to get the fuck out. And that's what's great about running your own show and not having to be under, you know, like I've seen many times with my wife when she had a job where she would get a rude customer, and you know, and my wife is just following policy, you know, because a lot of people would come in and try to scam, and then they would go behind her back and call corporate, and then corporate would give in. So it's like, what's the fucking point, you know, of doing exactly what they've trained you to do, but then undermining you? So, and a lot of businesses are like that, and it's dumb, and you know, and really those people should be blacklisted, because otherwise they go wherever they go, whether it's Best Buy, whether it's a grocery store or whatever, and they get all demanding, and those people are called Karens. So there you go. These people just think they deserve shit. So actually, I'm going to go back in. This is 22 minutes. That's pretty good for a good chunk, talking about sales. And I just scratched the surface about the amount of information about how to sell and how to treat other people. But basically, to wrap it up, treat other people the way you'd want to be treated. So really put yourself in their shoes and walk into a stereo place or even any store where they're, you know, they have a salesperson, bird person, where, you know, what is it that the salesman wants versus what do you want? We just watched Freakonomics, the movie. It's on Netflix or Amazon, either one. It's the Freakonomics movie. And one of the things they talked about was how real estate agents, when they're selling their own homes, they won't sell quick. They'll wait an extra 10 to 15 days more to get their full asking price or closer to their asking price. And that's because they're not in a hurry. But your sales guy, your real estate agent, when he's selling your house, they want to sell it as quickly as possible because they want to make that commission and walk away and go help somebody else. So, and that's in the massage business, that's a shitty hooker. So, and she doesn't care about you, and at least put on a face and smile. And you don't want to go see that hooker again, okay? She's going to mistreat you. So I saw one the other day that she picked up the towel that I was laying on and then sprayed it with alcohol and then folded it. Like, that is fucking gross. Go wash it, you know. Also, if the bathroom or the toilet is in bad shape, get out of there. So, in fact, that's awesome. The one thing you want to do, because you pay the entry fee, whatever it is, $40, maybe $60 for a fancy thing. This is really sex education if you want to think about it. So go to the bathroom, say, oh, I got to use the can. And you go in there, and that bathroom better be fucking spick and span and looking great, right? That's going to give you a telltale of how much they care about what they're doing and the level of customer service that they're going to be giving you, okay? So, and if it's shitty, if they got a gross toilet seat and they won't even change it out, get out of there and get a refund. So, because it's easy to get a refund because all you have to do is act like you're a bull in a china shop and you're going to wreck shit and call the cops. So, but anyways, I love you guys. I will talk to you later more about sales and also about how to be a better customer. That's really a great way to do it. So even in a massage parlor. Love you. Bye.